On the island of Mindanao in the Philippines, most people live lives that range from difficult to devastating.
I don't see how anyone could go to a third world country and see children in need, abandoned and neglected, hungry, not being able to go to school, and not have their heart touched and want to have that desire to want to make a difference.
You can't come away from that kind of stuff without having something changed in your heart and even in your mind.
The need speaks to everyone, but it only calls the few. Danny and Christy Ward answered that call.
Jeremiah, the 20th chapter, verse 7, it talks about a burning passion, a burning desire within, and that's what we had. We were willing to do anything to be able to go over there.
Several trips to General Santos City over 4 years to work with people in need laid the foundation for a larger mission. It all started with a new relationship on their first trip to this new land.
We stepped off the airplane, and we were greeted by these 12 Philippine National Police. We did not know that this area was kind of a threatened area.
The Islamic group, the Muslims, the Abu Sayyaf, which is a kidnap for ransom group.
Danny and Christy got to know Salvador, one of the police officers who kept them safe on their mission work.
When we returned back to the States, we kept in contact with him. We got a phone call that there was a young mother that was at the home of Salvador, and she was pregnant, and she was telling them that she could no longer keep her baby. Would they be willing to help her? Here's this little baby boy that was born, and Mary Lou and Salvador took him into their home. They started calling him Oyo, which means Ohio. And that basically was the start, the beginning of us being serious with starting Naomi's Heart Mission. Naomi's Heart Mission is to see hungry children fed and them to be able to have an education. Many, many children do not have the opportunity to go to school because they cannot afford even a small tuition.
We started out by putting kids into first grade. 35 kids went to the first grade. And the next year we had 70. Next year we had 150. This coming school year, we will put right around 500 kids into school from sponsorship here in the United States, from nursery through college.
The curriculum in the public schools in the Philippines include Bible studies. At Naomi's Heart Academy, even deeper foundations in Christianity are forged.
At this academy, it is such a wonderful chance to work with other Christians, to pray over children, to pray over their families when they're in need, to do chapel each Friday, to sing songs of praise and worship at our flag ceremony. We do a Bible study, we do devotions. And we hope that that example, that model is being given to the students that we work with. We want them to grow up knowing Jesus.
Naomi's Heart Academy is building a new school to accommodate the increasing enrollment made possible by sponsorships. The tuition is only $30 a month for a child going to Naomi's Heart Academy, $15 to send a child to the public school, and $50 for a college student. And the new academy site will have its foundations in love and faith as well.
They will build the chapel first. We want God to be present, be first and foremost.
Without Naomi's Heart Academy and the tuition sponsorships, hundreds of children would be left uneducated and left in lives of poverty. But the educational outreach does not stop with the children.
The children go to school, the mothers will sit outside, they'll talk and visit. Naomi's Heart Sisters is a livelihood program.
I work with Naomi's Sisters, which is the organization that works with the moms of the children that come to our academy. And we do Bible study as well as Zumba for exercise to keep them going.
She has taught them how to sew and make bags, table runners, and backpacks. She pays them for each piece that they make, and then they have that little extra income to help support their family.
The response of the women and their hunger to have fellowship and to learn and to be a part of something where they could grow and learn, and the way they responded to what we had to share with them really just touched my heart.
And Naomi's Heart Mission's community service ministry teams bring the good news into the world in teaching and in practice.
We have a new area along the beach in really southern part of Mindanao. Set up a school and also to do church. Lady came in who was Muslim, requested prayer for peace in her family. So we're making an impact. We have mountain regions that we go to, like Pow Pow and a couple other places that are so far out, and it does take almost 2 hours to get to a couple of these places that we've been to. And so the roads are very, very rough.
When I think of the CSM team, they're like the hands and the feet and the mouthpiece of the mission. They're the ones that go out and they're the ones that do the Bible teaching. They're the ones that do the medical. They're the ones that do the feeding. We do feed over 5,000 children a week. So that's our purpose in going, to feed them, and not only physically, but to feed them spiritually, to give them that hope.
The CSM team's feeding programs extend even to people living in the wasteland of a garbage dump.
Experiencing just driving up to the garbage dump, smoke and the smell, and then the experience of the flies just crawling all over. It gets to you that there are people out there digging through that stinky, smoky trash. And they're digging through it that they can find some plastic, some kind of metal, and then try to sell it so that they can get pesos just to buy rice to help feed their family. It's heartbreaking because this is the only way of life that some of these people have. How do we give these people hope? Our best way we can minister to them is to take the Word of God to them and take them some food, and trusting that the Lord would lead and direct us.
And anyone can be part of feeding those in need.
You can donate money. It costs $45 to buy a 110-pound bag of rice that could be handed out. They would break that down into 51 kilo bags of rice. Or you can donate $25, which will cook a 20-gallon pot of lugao. And lugao is composed of water and rice, evaporated milk, brown sugar, and cocoa. And they cook that, and it feeds 300 children.
The CSM team's mission is diverse. They regularly visit a women's prison to offer fellowship and kindness to women unjustly held without trials, to let them know that they are loved and not forgotten.
So they put you in jail for something that we call a misdemeanor. And it may be 5 years before your trial.
If their husband was to commit a crime and he was to flee up into the mountains. And she's still there with her kids. She is put in jail. She will serve his time.
The mission provides what earthly comforts it can to support the women who reside here.
Means a stumbling block.
And proclaims the good news with services, prayers, and song.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the communion of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen and amen.
Hi. God bless you.
Christy, Danny, and the CSM team also do whatever they can for those in a hospital for the poor.
So in the name of Jesus, we ask for healing here. We claim for healing and ask, Lord, that you would bless this man, heal him in the name of Jesus. Give him peace and comfort. Many of us have no idea what it is to be in a hospital like this and the conditions of this hospital. It's a hospital that you go to if you have no other choice but to go there. It's overcrowded. When we went into the OB ward and the mothers there with their little babies, 2 mothers shared a bed with their newborn babies. Thank you for Jesus. Amen. But going in, I just felt in some ways, okay, I'm here. And God sent me here. And especially when we went into the pediatric ward. And then you see those little children that are so sick. And you think, God, you sent me here. I'm your servant. I'm here to pray with these parents, pray with these mothers, pray over these children. One little child that was so sick had pneumonia, and his mother looked up at me and said, I need money for CAT scan. How do you help? How do you help? How do you pray? How do you tell that mother there is really a God who cares? I've never felt so inadequate in this ministry that I'm doing and trying to pray and give people hope. But our hope is in Jesus. It's not me, it is in Jesus. And that's what I have to relay to them, that God does hear and answer our prayers, and our hope is in Him, not in me.
Mission work in places like the Philippines have unique needs. People need nourishment of the spirit, mind, and body. From the education of children in schools, feeding of people in poor neighborhoods, offering fellowship to the lonely and forgotten.
Bless you.
To welcoming those who have been born again through baptism into the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Danny, Christy, and all of the people at Naomi's Heart Mission pass their God-given gifts on to those they serve for His glory.
I'm blessed every day that we're there. It's an honor and an answer to prayer, a privilege that God would use me. I just look at myself as an instrument.
I'd been to the Philippines many, many times, from 72 to 77 in the Navy. I hated it. I've gone from pretty much a disdain for the people to a love for the people. And that to me speaks volumes by itself, the fact that I can make that big of a change in my heart for a group that are so much in need. And now looking back, I can see why they were that way, because they didn't have anything.
you don't have to have the best education. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be somebody famous. If you're willing to serve God, He will use you. And I just thank Him every day that He was willing to use Danny and I to serve Him. Because this mission is our heart and our life. And I don't know what I'd do without it.